for another quick little tips and trick video. This is mostly for a couple of friends of mine, but I figured I'd share it with everybody else as well, just because I know some people struggle with something very important called inventory management. Yes, I was playing with a couple of my friends a few days ago, and their inability to fast travel or sometimes move at all was slightly horrifying to me. So I decided to make this video to kind of show ways to keep your stash box inventory low as well as your personal inventory. You can see I'm kind of getting up there. I've only got about 40 points of weight worth to keep going with. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go with junk. Now, sometimes you'll find stuff that you want to keep, right? Well, you can always just, straight up put it in your stash box, like Blast Radius board game. You can create a collection out of certain things. Let's go to the junk tab. If you want to keep this and put it into a display or some other type of, perhaps you need a certain type of scrap for a recipe. Like I know that the military grade circuit board is required, I believe, for the Assaultron blade weapon. And also for the recall keycard for the encrypted event, which whenever somebody does that, just run. Anyway, so you can just straight up put this in your stash box, and if you use the store all junk button, that will also just put everything straight in here. However, it's not always the best thing because these things have weight to them. Look at this, 1.5, and if you look, it scraps down into just circuitry. Now, I don't have any circuitry in my stash box right now, but I do have some over in my scrap box. This is a Fallout First thing. If we look at circuitry here, we can see the weight for an individual piece of circuitry is only 0.1. That's significantly lower than the military grade circuit board at 2. So it's often better to just completely scrap down all of your junk. But if you're trying to collect things like, say, teddy bears, it's best before you go to a workbench and scrap all your junk, stop by your stash box, find the item that you want to keep. Say, we'll save this Giddy Up Buttercup Lake for whatever freaking reason. We have plans to make like a toy shop later on. We're going to put that in there for some reason. And then you come to your weapon workbench, and then you scrap all junk by pressing the T on PC. I don't know what it is for console. And then you just accept that. And then all of your junk is now scrapped. See that? And my weight jumped down significantly. I was at 190 something. Now I'm at 132. So I'm a lot lighter now. However, there are a couple of other things that can be scrapped, like weapons. Now, I have a couple of things in here as well, like this combat shotgun, this 10mm pistol, this fire axe, pipe weapons. I'm not going to use these. Why do I have them? I don't need them. I'm never going to use them. We'll come back to these starred weapons as well as starred armor. So just take those to a workbench, strap them down. Look, you get modifiers for weapons when you do this. You unlock the ability to get new modifiers for weapons and sometimes armor. It's a little harder to get it for armor, but you can get that. So I unlocked a couple of things here. I think I unlocked it for combat shotgun. You can see I got all kinds of barrels now. I got the hardened receivers, all kinds of receivers unlocked. Still haven't unlocked the muzzle. And there's no sights for this, but you get the idea. There's all kinds of things that you can get by scrapping things you're not using. Don't keep them in your stash box. That's what brings your weight up. If you're not going to use it, or at least not going to use it now, scrap it. You'll find it again later. Don't worry about it. There's always ways to do that. Also, you can craft weapons. Like machine guns. I can make a bow, I can make a double-barrel shotgun, the hunting revolver, or hunting rifle, the western revolver. I can craft these. Anything in here, I can craft it if I have the components for it. So if you scrap something you think you're going to use later, don't worry about it, especially if you're at earlier levels. Like this character's only at level 31, and I did this specifically because my friends are also fairly new to the game. One of them is in their 30s, one of them is a bit lower level than that. But I scrapped those because I don't plan to use them. Like, my character right now is using a 10mm pistol, a double-barrel shotgun, a pump-action shotgun, and a 44. Kind of going for like a John Wick vibe for this character. It's fun to play around with, but it's not very practical. So I scrapped them. And look, we got all kinds of components now. And that's another thing. We're going to go grab a piece of scrap from hopefully one of these trash cans if it'll spawn one for me. No. You can sometimes find like a cigarette right there. Just random scrap. Silver table knife. There's sometimes a Giddy Up Buttercup here, as well as a couple of blocks and some toys. Those are great to grab. Let's see if he has anything that I can grab here.
Welcome to Camping Kings.
That's important. And that'll be important as well as this. Okay. So we got some scrap items. Or I should say junk items. We have some junk items. Now, searching for items for crafting can be a pain in the butt. Springs, adhesive, they are difficult to find early game. So one thing you can do is you can come over to your junk tab in your Pip-Boy. And if you're having trouble viewing it on this small screen, you can hit the V button and you can get the Power Armor version of this. So it's just like a holographic display. Although a lot of people still use the Pip-Boy because you actually animate pulling up your Pip-Boy when you do this, and people will realize that you're not paying attention to something on your screen right now. So right now we can see I have a bunch of scrap in my inventory, but I also have some junk items like the cigarette, the Giddy Up Buttercup body, and a couple of other items. But if you hit this option down here, component view, on PC it's C, that by default. Now all you have is the components that you're carrying. And this is great because you can now tag these things for search. So if I hit spacebar, I now have this little magnifying glass icon. I'm going to do that also on springs, nuclear material. I would also suggest doing it on oil, acid, ballistic fiber for sure, and lead. So these things are very important for not just crafting, but also ammunition. Most ammo requires lead, flamer fuel. If we look at the Tinker's Workbench here, flamer fuel is an energy ammo, and it requires acid and oil, as well as a little bit of steel. But these things can really rack up if you're using like the flamer weapon or even the Atom Shop's cremator. Although the cremator is no longer just an Atom Shop item, you can get it with gold bullion, but that's like after level 50. You can get it earlier than that, but it's not recommended. So, yeah, we got all of that now, and if we look at the items themselves, you'll see the Giddy Up Buttercup body contains screws and springs. The handcuffs contain a screw and a spring. The high-powered magnet has nuclear material in it, and this is very important for weapon sights. The sights, that little glowing bit, nuclear material. It's required for the glow. Another item that has springs in it would be the telephones that you can find around, but I don't have those. I believe there's one.
Welcome to the White Springs Spa.
Right here.
Please take
Telephone.
any of the spa suites in the back. Reports
Now,
of
the
silent
telephone-
infusions, eventually, robot chiropractic and massage
Telephone contains
services
circuitry, copper,
are
and
no
fiber
longer
optics.
available.
So if you're looking for circuitry, that's a great place to go find it. Copper as well if you're using energy weapons.
Please
you need that
do
for
not
energy
interfere with
cells.
resource
They require
security
a lot
patrols.
of copper. So if we were to look here at energy ammo, fusion cells, they require lead, copper, and plastic. And it requires a lot of them for just a single craft. So keep that in mind. Plasma cartridges as well require a lot of copper and lead. These require even more lead than anything else. And lead can be difficult to find if you don't know what to look for. However, when you're going out there, the biggest thing to look for lead is cans and pencils. Cans and pencils. I'm getting advice from my wife sitting next to me. Yes, cans and pencils, except for, I believe, aluminum cans. All cans contain lead and steel. Aluminum cans, weirdly enough, contain both aluminum and steel, but no lead. So, when you're out in the field, you'll sometimes find traps hanging down from doorways and things like that that look like they are chains with cans hanging off of them. You can actually go up to those and use an interaction to disarm them, and you'll get like 6 cans out of them. That's lead. That's ammunition. Gather it all. And then, come back, come here, and you see I have these items here now. Also, wooden blocks contain lead, because the paint on them is lead-based. They haven't learned our lessons yet. High-powered magnets contain nuclear material and copper. And like I was saying, the Gidea buttercups and the handcuffs, they contain springs and screws, so those are always good. Silver, not as big of a thing unless you're using energy weapons, but silver tableware has silver. Like that. So we're just going to come here and scrap all, and boom. Now, when we go to put it in here, you see I'm at 128. If I were to store all my junk, there's 28 units of scrap that just went into my stash box for much lower weight than what was originally here. Now, if we were to come back to continuing on with inventory management, I have a lot of crap in terms of weapons in my stash box. Things I'm never going to use. I don't use grenades very often. I'm only holding on to the Kami Wagner because I find it funny, but all these grenades, this is unfortunately a quest item. The only thing you can do with it is either use it or drop it. But then I have these 3-star weapons in here too. I'm keeping that one because I plan to use it later. These mines, grenades, Molotov cocktails, plasma grenades, mines, take them all out. If you're not going to use them, do not keep them in your stash box. Armor. I'm keeping 1 power armor chassis just for future use. I'm going to plan to put it into a display case, but I don't like Raider power armor, so I'm going to take that piece out. Notice it has a star on it. It's called the Mutants Raider power armor right leg. That means it has a legendary effect on it, which is the Mutants legendary, plus 10 on damage resistance and energy resistance while mutated. Now this character has no mutations, so I'm not getting any bonuses from that. Now apparel items. For the most part, keep them. These things weigh hardly anything. You can see down in the center here, they only weigh 0.1 for pretty much everything that I have in my stash box. So these have no reason to not hold on to them, unless you have duplicates. If you have duplicates, go ahead and get rid of them. You see I have 2 cop caps. They're actually different. One of them is clean, one of them is dirty. So that's a good reason to keep those. I also have the clean police uniform, which is the Responders version. There is a pre-war version, but it is dirty. It matches the hat. Food and drink. This is very, very important because this will take up, this and aid will take up the majority of your space in your stash box other than junk items if you don't have Fallout First. Starting off, alcohol. Unless you're using it for a challenge, get rid of it. Pre-war food. These are usually boxed foods like this, or canned foods like the Cajun rice and beans. There are 2 different versions of most pre-war food. Cajun rice and beans, you'll see, have rads. Is very important because you don't want to eat stuff that has rads. Also, water. Boiled water, dirty water, put it right in your stash box. You can craft dirty water into boiled water from your stash. So just keep it in here. Don't carry it around. There's plenty of people who put up purified water stuff everywhere. You can get purified water easily. This is true. My wife brought up a very good point. You cannot cook with purified water except in very rare circumstances. There are certain recipes that require purified water. However, for the most part, boiled water is what is used to craft food. And that's usually for things like the noodle cup or certain stews and things like that. Those require the boiled water. So purified water is for drinking, boiled water is for crafting. Canned dog food. Hold on to at least 5 to 15 pieces in your stash box for challenges, because they will pop up every now and then. Finding these can be a pain in the ass. But back to the pre-war food. You'll notice this box of Blamco mac and cheese looks very clean. Looks very nice, actually. And it has no rads. This is preserved food, which means that you can safely consume it without getting radiation. You'll see the canned food does give you rads, but you can always take some rad away, or you can drink some Brahmin milk, not the spoiled version, because that's gonna make you sick. But yes, so cotton candy bites, they have rads, get rid of them. Cram has rads, get rid of it. Dandy Boy apples, rads, get rid of it, etc., etc. Duchess's Dram is an alcoholic beverage. You can get that from Duchess. You get a certain amount of it free from doing her quest line. I don't use alcohol, so I'm going to get rid of that as well. Fancy Lead snack cakes, again with the rads. Bubblegum, keep it. You get a bonus like when you consume it where you get hungry and thirsty slower after consuming some bubblegum. And it's used for certain challenges. Same with gumdrops. Any bubblegum related item, hold on to it, because gumdrops count as candy as well, which is also sometimes pops up on the challenge board. Honey never spoils, so hold on to that if you want. It's good for certain crafting recipes. Guano on a stick, it's going to spoil. Dog meat's going to spoil. Mountain honey, I don't use it myself, so I'm going to get rid of it. I'm going to get rid of the noodle cups, and for right now, I'm getting rid of the Nuka-Cola because I don't have any of the recipes that allow you to make grenades out of Nuka-Cola right now. Not on this character anyway, but that is a thing. So you can collect Nuka-Cola. Both Nuka-Cola and Nuka-Cola Quantum can be turned into grenades. Yes, my wife loves collecting those things. She likes using the grenades too. So, you'll notice I have a crap ton of pemmican. Like, I've just been collecting this stuff for a while. I'm going to actually sell some of it because I only carry a little bit on me at a time. Preserved Instamash. Notice, no rads. Keep it. Purified water. See, I got tons of purified water. Meat. Here is a perfect example of pre-war preserved versus pre-war irradiated. You see the box looks really dirty on this Salisbury steak, and it gives you rads. However, this single version is very clean, and it has no rads on it. Get rid of the irradiated versions. Keep spoiled vegetables, fruit, and meat, because you can eventually turn that into fertilizer, which, believe it or not, is used in fragmentation grenade recipes. So that's very important. Keep this. Again, bubblegum. Here's another example of preserved pre-war food with sugar bombs. Sugar bombs are also great for gaining action points back, the AP or stamina. Consume one of those, you get 60 points back immediately. Tick blood is great for when you're making stim packs, because you convert it into blood packs, but I'm going to go ahead and get rid of it because I don't have that recipe yet. Vodka, again, alcohol, just get rid of it. Whiskey, wine, all of it. Now my stash inventory has gone from over 300 down to almost 250 just by taking out all of that food items. Aid items. This is another one where your weight is going to go up massively. Certain things you want to keep: Addictol, antibiotics, disease cures. Keep them. They are very important until you get the higher levels and you get a certain machine that will allow you to cure diseases simply by entering it. Addictol, though, is hard to find, and addictions are a pain in the ass, so keep at least some of them. Blood packs are used to create stim packs. If you don't have that recipe, get rid of them. Same with most of the drugs in the game. I don't use healing salves, I don't use blood packs, medics, mentats I don't use. The only mentats that I ever use are usually the grape mentats, because they give you a bonus to trade with vendors, so you get better prices. Overdrive, Psycho. Now, Rad-X and Rad-Away are interesting, because at early levels, before you start getting into mutations, you can keep Rad-Away, but you don't need a whole lot of it. Like, yes, it's scary seeing that red meter go up on your health bar, but you don't need a whole lot of Rad-Away to get rid of most of that bar. I usually keep maybe 5 on me when I'm out adventuring, so I'm going to sell the other 50. Yes, I am. Yes. Once you get to a point where you're able to get what's known as the Nuka-Cola Collectron, you can start collecting Nuka Grape, which actually acts just like Radaway. The reason you don't want to use Radaway when you have mutations is because Radaway and Rad-X can both suppress your mutation bonuses, so you don't get them. Like Marsupial allows you to jump twice as high. If you get that suppressed by taking a thing of Radaway, you can only jump normal height for a certain amount of time. It does eventually come back, but you're without that bonus, so keep that in mind. Stealth Boys turn you invisible for 30 seconds, however, it's not the best bonus. You can actually get a better bonus from the Chameleon Legendary effect, so that's kind of worthless. Diluted stim packs are great for very early game when you don't have access to very many stim packs. You can take one stim pack and turn it into 2 diluted, which give you half the benefit. So the stim pack itself restores restores like 20 HP per stim pack or something like that, I think. But diluted stim packs, again, half that, so about 10. Super stim packs give you a burst of health, like I think it's like 10 hit points, and then it gives you more hit points over a certain amount of time. They're great for later game when you're just out adventuring and you don't need to worry about your health as much. But early game, they're actually better for gate caps, so take those out. Magazines you can put onto displays in your camp. They also give you bonuses for a certain amount of time. Live and Love 2, for example, gives you plus 5% damage when in a team. And I believe the limit is like 10 minutes. 30 minutes. When you read this magazine, you'll get a bonus for 30 minutes. Bobbleheads, similar thing. You can actually put these on a display in your camp, but they also give you a bonus. This one will give you additional damage to your ballistic weapons, anything that uses bullets instead of energy, an additional 20 points of damage per shot for 1 hour, so keep that in mind as well. I always hold on to bobbleheads and magazines because they weigh barely anything, 0.01 for the magazine, and again for the bobblehead. And these are also great for trading or just displaying in your camp. You'll notice I have a crap ton of stim packs. I normally only carry between 40 and 50 stim packs on me. On my higher level characters, I only carry about 20, but that's because of the gear I have also helps me to heal quickly too. So later on, you'll realize you're using less and less stim packs, and you'll find yourself selling a lot of them. So I'm only going to keep about 36 or so in there for now. Miscellaneous items. There are weight on some of these. Aluminum ore, any ore, will have weight on it. You can put that in your stash box, use it later. These can be smelted down into scrap at the chemistry bench. And then you could also put certain things like the turret circuit board, which weighs 1.5. You can put that in your stash box. You can put certain other miscellaneous items in, but there's not really a point. You never want to put your bobby pins away because you're always using them. Holotapes. You can put holotapes in your stash box to free up this tab in your Pip-Boy. So you can see certain ones I'm able to put in here. All of those. Anything that has this little diamond is quest related, so I cannot put those away yet. Let's see, Overseer's logs. Notes. You can put notes away. And plans. If you have plans, if it does not show known on the side of it, you can read this plan and gain the ability to make something like this, the cooking spit. I'm going to be using this in a moment. These do have weight though, 0.25 per plan. So these 2 plans that are in my stash box, the chemistry workbench and the tinker's workbench, they're just taking up weight. I could get rid of these if I wanted to. These 2 in particular are so common, nobody will buy these, so I usually just end up destroying them. Junk, you can keep junk, like I said, inside of your stash box. If you have Fallout First, you can use your scrap box. So I'm actually going to take all of this scrap out. I'm going to be transferring it over to the scrap box, and this will save weight as well. Now, for people who don't have Fallout First, obviously you won't be able to do this, but I will show you something else you can do to save weight, which is something also you can do in challenges. Mods, you can find wooden boxes that will give you a free use of putting something onto a weapon or piece of armor without having to know the plan to be able to do that yourself. Ammo, also, you can store in your stash box. Keep in mind, it does have weight. However, in the stash box, the stack weights are a lot smaller, so keep that in mind as well. You can store ammo safely, but ammo on your person does add up as well. So if you find yourself being over-encumbered a lot, check your ammo tab. 40mm grenades, missiles, mini nukes, anything that would be explosive for a heavy weapon weighs a lot. So make sure you put anything you're not using away, and you can sell it in one of your personal vendors at your camp. So I'm going to really, because I'm currently over encumbered, I'm going to put all of this junk into my stash box, and you see that freed up a lot of space there. Now, for all the other stuff that I took out of my stash box, anything that can't be scrapped, ignore these items, we're going to show you what to do with them in a minute. Anything that can't be scrapped, bring to a vendor, sell it. Don't just drop it, sell it. Because caps are like gold in, well, not quite gold, there is actually gold bullion as currency in the game, but they are very precious, and finding them can be a pain in the butt unless you are my wife, who is able to find
Artisan's
them,
Corner is the place for creative hands-on learning.
grenades, drugs, healing items that you're not using. Just get rid of everything. Except for these star items. Keep the star items. Food you're not using, get rid of it. Nuka-Cola you're not using, get rid of it too. You can actually sell Nuka-Cola in your vendors as well. People will buy it like freaking crazy because a lot of people use it for grenades or for just for healing in general. Like people sometimes use Nuka-Cola instead of purified water. They'll take the rads because they also have a Nuka Great, which can counter it later on. I'm going to sell off all of that. I'm going to only keep
Artisan's
5
Corner
pieces
has
of
everything you
Radaway
need to make
for
your
this
next
character.
survival
Get
project
rid
a
of the
success.
diluted. You can use diluted as well, like I was saying with the stim packs, to get rid of radiation, but it'll only take out half of the value that normal Radaway does. So normal Radaway is 60 rads per use. Diluted version will do
Life is an adventure. Are you up to the challenge?
all of the radiated food, stuff you're not using, get rid of it. Save yourself the trouble of having that stuff in your inventory. Keep it nice and clean. We're going to use that plan that we saw. That'll take out a little
Artisan's
bit more
Corner
weight.
is the place for
Save
creative
a
hands-on
nice clean
learning.
inventory.
And
There
the
are certain
Wilderness
things in here
Survival
that we still
Experience
have
is our
to
most
deal with.
popular
We'll
program
take
yet.
care of that. Those star items, bring them here. If it's not something you're going to use, like a melee item, these two are melee weapons. I don't use melee weapons on this character. Get rid of them. Bring them to this machine. That particular one can't be traded, unfortunately. That is I believe, a quest reward. But these ones, this one here with the 3 stars, get rid of it. This one, Mutant's Raider Power Right Leg, get rid of it. These will give you what's known as script, which you can use for more legendary weapons and things like that later. Now that Black Diamond weapon, unfortunately, because I can't get rid of it, I am going to scrap it. You can scrap legendary weapons for a chance to learn the legendary mod or get the mod box. Unfortunately, I didn't get it there, but I did get a little bit of script back, and I might have gotten... I got a composite ski out of it. I'm going to scrap that as well. But sometimes you can get legendary modules out of it. Like this right here, legendary module, which is used to craft certain legendary weapons as well. I'll show you that here. You can unlock these things later on, like the cremator, the icebreaker here. This is a harpoon gun with a very unique looking design to it, and it requires 2 legendary modules to craft. Tesla Cannon does not. There are certain other ones that do, like the Cold Shoulder. This is a double-barrel shotgun. That does require legendary modules to craft. So keep that in mind. Legendary modules are useful. You can also use them to put legendary mods onto your current weapons and stuff as well. So if we go to modify, I could add legendary mods onto my pipe pistol, or onto my 10mm pistol here, if I had enough modules. The effect that you get is always random unless you craft a legendary mod that you've unlocked. But it's kind of rare to get those things, so just go with what you get, and if you don't get what you like, just keep trying. You'll get them eventually. Let's see. Spoiled Brahmin milk. Unfortunately, you cannot turn that into fertilizer, so that is one spoiled item that you'll have to drop on the ground. It will eventually despawn, but you'll see this bag on the ground for like 30 minutes after you drop it. Now let me show you smelting. So I talked about fertilizer earlier, and you can see raw meat. I now have 13 pieces of raw meat. Every 10, you can turn it into fertilizer. The aluminum scrap, you can see I need one more piece of ore and a little bit of acid, and you can make 2 aluminum scrap out of that ore. Same with steel, you can get it from iron. So keep that in mind as well. Healing, you can craft diluted radaway, you can craft diluted stim packs, diluted radax. You'll find plans to make other healing items as well. The healing salves are great for low level, but they do get outclassed very quickly by stim packs and things like that. Ammo, real quick. Unrefined gunpowder. If you're having trouble being able to craft ammo in the Tinker Bench because you're running out of gunpowder, you can make the gunpowder. See right here, gunpowder. You can make it in the chemistry bench for just some cloth and some acid. That's all it takes. So yeah, that pretty much covers everything so far. You can see my inventory is now a lot better than it was. I'm down to 105 versus the over 200 I had before. And I'm still carrying a decent amount of stuff. Now you can find things for stuff like armor. You can get a, let's see if I have it. Yeah, this pocketed mod. There's also deep pocketed, which will give you some additional carry weight. Like right here, you see I have 5 extra points of carry weight because I'm wearing this piece of armor. And your backpack. Also, every 10 levels, upgrade your backpack, because it'll give you an additional 5 points of carry weight. But you'll notice I didn't sell the pemmican and purified water because they are favorited on my character. I have them in, I have water in the minus key slot, and I have food in the 0 slot. That way I don't have to keep going into my inventory to eat and drink. And I have my stim packs on the equals button. That way I can easily do that too. I can sell those as well.
Corner has everything you need to make your next
here,
survival project a success.
51 pieces because I only carry about 20 pieces of food. You don't need it all that often, and you find food like crazy. I'm going to sell 98 purified water. And look at that, I've got a whole bunch of caps.
Prepare for adventure.
8. I'm going to sell a whole bunch of my stim packs. I'm going to keep only about, say, 40 of them. Some favorited item. I have 40 caps now. I just gained over 200 caps. I now have 3,000 caps. I started this video with just over 1,000.
Adventure. Are you
So
up
it's
to the
very
challenge?
important. Sell stuff you're not using. Scrap weapons and armor in the early game so you can get the mods for them. If you notice you're not getting any mods from scrapping weapons and armor, go sell it instead. Get the caps. It's more useful as caps than it is as scrap. Because you'll notice, as you play, you'll gain so much scrap, you won't know what to do with most of it. Now, for stash box users, you can't put your scrap in the scrap box. But what you can do, if you have too much scrap, and you don't want to get rid of all of it, go to the Tinker Bench and go to bulk. And something you want to bulk is steel and wood. You notice that steel, I have 4,926 steel. If you bulk it, it will give you an item that has a bit of weight to it, but that weight is less than the equal portion of the scrap. So that is a great way to save on some weight, and that's also a great way to do some challenges too. If you notice that you have to craft or scrap components to gather a certain amount of steel, you can bulk up some steel and scrap that, and you'll be able to complete that challenge really quickly. I do believe that is everything I wanted to cover though, so thank you for watching. Hopefully everybody was able to get some good tips out of this, and I hope your adventures in the Wasteland are beneficial. Have a good one, everybody.